Hi, everyone. We are talking about spirituality and well being. How is spirituality different than well being? What a great question. Somebody actually suggested that for us. And so I wanted to do a deep dive on it. So I'm going to be giving you 5 concepts to think about regarding spirituality and well being. This is something that's very dear to my heart. If we haven't met before, my name is Dr. Karen. I've been doing this work for over 25 years. And one of the reasons why this is actually so dear to my heart is it really, in many ways, encompasses all the kind of different parts of my career. So if we haven't met before, my doctorate's in marriage and family. I'm a registered therapist. That's where I started. Then I actually was encouraged to take that knowledge into the workplace. So now we do leadership training for global companies. So that's just really important for you to know. But the thing that a lot of you maybe don't know, because I don't share this very often, is I could have been a pastor. I have a master's and a doctorate of divinity. And so I actually studied theology. And so I actually could have been a pastor. I decided obviously not to, decided to go more on the psychology leadership side. But this whole topic is very dear to my heart. And so I love the fact that this question was actually suggested for us. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 things I want you to just think about. So whether or not you, again, are an entrepreneur, professional manager, parent, this topic actually is really important for all of us to really think about. All right, so I'm going to give you 5 kind of things to think about around this topic. And okay, so let's dive in. All right, so the first thing I want you to think about is spirituality. Let's just kind of define this a little bit. So the first thing I want you to think about, spirituality is really your sense of purpose. What is your purpose? What is the purpose in your life? It's really our connection to something greater than ourselves, okay? And we are all spiritual. All of us, every single person watching this right now, we are all spiritual. We may not be all religious, but we are all spiritual. And this is a really important piece because a lot of times when I'm speaking, if this topic comes up, whether it's in a business conference or a family conference, people are like, "Well, I'm not spiritual. I'm not religious." And I want to really clarify, we're not all religious. We are all spiritual. Okay, and this is a very big part of being a person. So I just wanted to really clarify what that is. So that's kind of like the first thing I want us to dial in on. The second part, from that, if you have my book, The 3 Chairs, turn to page 126. Like a little book club, everybody. We're doing a little book club. And just to kind of like tie this all together, in my book, The 3 Chairs, I talk, page 126. An article in the Harvard Business Review cited research that employees who see their work as meaningful are 69% less likely to quit their jobs within the next 6 months. Amazing. Okay, and so the reason, again, why I shared this with you, a lot of you watching, you're entrepreneurs, your managers, your professionals, and when I first made the transition and expanded our work from families into businesses, my area of focus and specialty was around the multi-generations and really helping managers manage successfully the millennials within the workplace. And this is certainly something that I saw a lot, significantly actually, with the younger generations, that they really wanted their work to be meaningful. And when I'd be coaching and training, a lot of times boomers and traditionalists and Gen X's, they'd be like, "Oh my goodness, these millennials, they want their work to be purposeful and meaningful." And they'd be kind of like rolling their eyes. And I'm like, no, actually, this is actually a good thing. The fact that they want to have purpose in their work, and obviously sometimes we do work that is not purposeful. I get that. I'm an entrepreneur. There's a lot of times we do work that I don't like. It's not purposeful, but the work that we're doing, it is tied to a greater purpose. Okay, and so I just wanted to highlight how this topic of purpose and spirituality is connected to our workplace. So that's kind of the second tip. And as we're kind of unpacking all of these concepts, what we're really talking about is, again, leadership at a very high level, but specifically emotional intelligence. And so if you want to kind of dive deeper, I strongly recommend you get our EQ scorecard, because it actually measures all these different kind of components and metrics on emotional intelligence. What we're talking about is actually included, and it's free. Okay, so just in the comment below, just write EQ, right? EQ, and someone from our team will send you that scorecard. It's free, and it just kind of allows you to kind of dig in deeper with this topic. It's like such a good topic that is applied for all ages. Okay, so the third thing I want you to think about is now well-being. Okay, so spirituality is around purpose. Well-being is different, but they're correlated. Okay, so well-being is really our overall state of health. Okay, so under that umbrella, we have emotional well-being, physical well-being, mental well-being, and spiritual well-being. Oh, listen to that, everybody. So they're correlated. Okay, so I might be emotionally, physically really, I've got a really strong sense of well-being, but I'm not connected to my sense of my purpose, and so I might feel a little bit lopsided. So they're highly connected. They're highly connected. All right, so well-being is really, really, really important. And like I said, because of my mental health training, I can see that. And actually, what's fascinating to me, just as a bit of a side note, is sometimes I will work with somebody and they might be really spiritually healthy, but emotionally they're not healthy, or they are emotionally healthy, not spiritually healthy, or maybe they're physically healthy and they're not spiritually healthy. See what I mean? Like, we can maybe be healthy in one kind of compartment, but not necessarily another. And we want to make sure we're getting healthy in all parts, okay? All parts. And these are things that we can control. This is one of the things I really love, why I love to teach and why I love to do these YouTube videos for you. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4, I want you to turn to page 131. I'm just kind of connecting the dots. And this is really interesting as it relates to well-being. Page 131. A Forbes article saying that 89% of workers at companies, 89% of workers at companies that support well-being initiatives are more likely to recommend their company as a good place to work. 89%, everybody, 89%. So when we think about these concepts, spirituality and well-being and workplace and all that, what we find is people are more likely to want to stay. You'll have higher retention as a business owner if you actually pay attention to it, and people will also recommend their place to work more likely. So these are concepts from a business perspective are actually important. And so I just kind of want to really highlight that for you. Okay, so that's the 4th thing. And the 5th thing, as it kind of applies to us as professionals, business owners, as parents, a lot of us are parents, is really pay attention to how can we foster spirituality and well-being, both in our workplace, but also in our family life. Okay, so really try to think practically, how can we do that? How can we kind of start to foster that? And so in the workplace, we might kind of look at really kind of honing in terms of identify with what your purpose is as a business owner, making sure that you're amplifying that every employee understands what their role is and how they are connected to the greater purpose. It's very important. They want to know what the meaning is. But on the family side, I encourage you also to think about how can you really try to encourage your children, yourself, to start tapping into your sense of purpose. What is your purpose? My purpose is to help people. That's my purpose. My purpose is it's one of the reasons, actually my word, every year I kind of choose a word of the year, and this year my word is purpose. My purpose is to really help people discover their full sense of self and to really live to their full potential. And that's my purpose. And the more I do it, the more energized actually I feel. So that's kind of how my purpose is really connected, both at work, but also personally. And then in terms of the well-being, same thing. Think about, okay, this is an important concept. How can we try to encourage the well-being of our employees at work? And also, how can we encourage the well-being of our family life actually at home? And so it's just start to kind of think about what are practical different ways that you can actually do to kind of help to encourage both of these concepts in all parts of our life. And what you're going to find is that you'll just find that there's more engagement, there's more happiness, there's more contentment. And I think you'll just find that there's just a much better engagement overall, both in your organization as well as your families. So I hope you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notified. Make sure you check out our other YouTube videos. And if you've got a suggestion for us, definitely put that in the comments below. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you at one of our other YouTube videos.